This 5-day itinerary will have you roaming along the ramparts of fairy tale castles, getting selfies with shocks, throwing back a shot of cherry-red Jinjinha, listening to soulful Fado music at one of the city's iconic venues, and dancing the night away at a beachside club, basically tapping into the very best of Lisbon. The plan below covers the city's top attractions, along with some breaks for recharging and refueling at Lisbon's coolest bars and restaurants. We've organized everything by location so that you're not running back and forth across town. And, with the help of TripAdvisor reviews and ratings, we've made sure to spotlight the stops travelers like you love most. Day 1. Morning. A vintage tram that takes you back in time. If we had only an hour in Lisbon and a few euros in our pocket, we'd hop on iconic yellow tram 28. This famed funicular takes you along the winding streets of the Alfama neighborhood. The tram isn't exactly a secret, so hop on early, and at the first stop, Martin Moniz, if you want a chance to snag one of the wooden seats. Enjoy taking in Lisbon's oldest neighborhoods, but keep an eye out for pickpockets. Afternoon. Finding your way through a medieval maze. Hungry after your morning cardio? Near the castle entrance, you'll find Miss Khan, which serves up charming tins of Portuguese fish. TripAdvisor reviewers advise you to buy a bunch with some sides for a tapas-style feast. Scoring a few extra cans as souvenirs isn't a bad idea either. Once you've rested a bit, walk along the medieval streets of Alfama toward the sea. Technically, it's an estuary of the Tagus River. If directionless strolling stresses you out, make your way toward Lisbon Cathedral, an imposing 12th century cathedral on the western edge of the neighborhood. Evening dinner and drinks for a song. Alfama is renowned for Fado, a type of Portuguese music that blends classic guitar and mournful solo vocals. It makes UNESCO's intangible cultural heritage list. To hear some for yourself, make a reservation at the family-run Senior Fado de Alfama, which, like many Fado spots, doubles as a dinner stop. The red wine and seafood stew are tasty, but the real star is the music. Day 2. Morning and arch an elevator and a history lesson. Start your morning on Praca do Comercio in Peixeira, the center of downtown Lisbon. The plaza's sheer size is impressive. It's among the largest in Europe, and it feels like it extends directly into the sea. Explore the square, then pass through the 6-columned Arco do Triunfo, and stroll north along Peixeira's main drag, the shop-filled Rua Augusta. Your first pit stop is the neo-Gothic Elevador de Santa Justa, a creative way to get commuters up to the Bairro Alto, or Upper City. The elevator is part of the city's public transportation system, so if you have a 24-hour transit card, it's a free ride for a nice view. But the lines can get so long, so you might decide to hoof it uphill. Afternoon art, artifacts, and some serious hedges. Come lunchtime, take the 15-minute metro ride to Maria Peixeira for some delicious Portuguese seafood like bacalhau, which is dried and salted cod, a local favorite. One TripAdvisor review calls it a masterpiece of a meal. Close by is one of Lisbon's best museums, Calouste Gulbenkian. This eclectic private collection is packed full of ancient Egyptian and Greek artifacts, 18th century French furniture, and 20th century paintings. Unlike other city sites, this museum is open on Monday and closed on Tuesday. Evening. A night out in Bairro Alto. Head south to Bairro Alto, a neighborhood known for its beautiful boutiques, great restaurants, and rowdy nightlife. Wander a bit, then head to a Nossa Casa, a small restaurant serving delicious petiscos. The Portuguese take on tapas. TripAdvisor users rate this place a best of the best for its warm service and seasonal menu. Reserve by phone a few days ahead. After dinner, you're spoiled for choice. Cheap bars, live music, jazz clubs. The vibe mellows a bit as you head north toward Príncipe Real. We like Cinco Lounge, which serves up genuinely creative cocktails along with chill vibes. Day 3. Morning maritime monuments in Belém. Start your morning at the Torre de Belém, a 16th century tower and monument to Portuguese seafaring that looks like it's floating on the water. A textbook example of the intricate Portuguese late Gothic style. It's part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site that includes a monastery. Though it's most impressive from the outside, it's fun to go inside and peek around if the lines aren't too long. Afterward, walk along the water to Padrão dos Descobrimentos, a massive prow-shaped monument to Prince Henry the Navigator. It's so tall, there's a viewing platform on top. You can easily spend an hour here, snapping pics, staring out at the sea, and admiring the monument's 33 statues of historical figures. If you chose not to climb the Torre de Belém, the view here is perhaps even better, with shorter lines and a particularly impressive panorama of the 25 de Abril suspension bridge. Afternoon street corner seafood and tasty pastries. For lunch, chill out with small plates at the seaside food truck Mr. Tapas. Then walk to the Mosteiro dos Jerónimos, built in honor of the Portuguese explorer Vasco da Gama. Visit both the ornate monastery and the church, where you can check out the tombs of da Gama and Portuguese poet Luís de Camões. The church is free, but you need a ticket for the monastery. Consider buying one ahead, as lines can get long, though less so in the afternoon after the glut of tour groups have left. Evening night on the town, Lisbon style. Hop on Tram 15 for a 25-minute ride to Castelo de São Jorge, a party zone with beachy vibes. Enjoy a walk along the water, then head to Time Out Market Lisboa, a food hall packed with stalls from more than 24 of Lisbon's top restaurants and bars. Can't decide? You won't regret the crunchy croquettes at Croqueteria. When you're ready, don't rush it. Party time is late in Lisbon. Settle into a bar on Calle Rosa de Lisboa. Day 4. Morning. Sharks, seahorses and sea otters. Start your day at the Oceanario de Lisboa, a massive aquarium extending out over a lagoon in Parque das Nações. The main tank, holding well over 1 million gallons of water, is home to fearsome-looking creatures like sharks, barracudas and moray eels. Kids love the penguins, seahorses and sea otters. The oceanarium gets swamped, so you'll avoid the lines if you manage to be here when it opens. Plan on spending several hours. Afternoon, Portuguese dishes and decorative tiles. From the aquarium, it's a 7-minute walk to Avotinha for classic Portuguese seafood. TripAdvisor reviews recommend traditional dishes like the bacalhau alagareiro, which is cod with potatoes, and camarão alho alhinho, or garlic shrimp. Once you've refueled, head to the Museu Nacional do Azulejo, a former convent that's now a museum with a huge collection of Portuguese decorative tiles dating back to the 15th century. The National Tile Museum's Courtyard Cafe is the perfect place for a coffee break. Evening seafood with a view. Head back to Castelo de São Jorge in the center of Lisbon, then hop on the ferry, free if you have a 24-hour transit ticket. The 10-minute cruise takes you across the Tagus River to Cacilhas. Stroll the riverside walk and soak in the skyline. Elevador Panorâmico da Boca do Vento, a 15-minute walk from the port, offers a panoramic view that includes the Cristo Rei monument. Stop at Atira-te ao Rio, with one of the best views of any restaurant in Lisbon. For an unforgettable dinner, if it's a pleasant evening, the outdoor tables are definitely the place to be. The last ferry back is well after midnight, so you have time to linger over whatever seafood dish you pick. Day 5. Morning. Sintra's spectacular fairy tale castles. It's hard to imagine wanting to leave Lisbon, but trust us on this one. Sintra is worth it. This hilltop town is basically a pile-on of wonders. The entire city is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, as is one of the many castles inside it. No wonder Portuguese royalty vacationed here. Hop on the train at Lisbon's Rocio Square and you'll arrive in Sintra about 45 minutes later. Head straight for the National Palace of Penha. Bus 434 takes you here from the train station. Colorful, over-the-top and confounding, Penha Palace is a stunning more-is-more mashup of architectural styles. Neo-Gothic flourishes, an 1800s clock tower and Moorish arches? Why not? Inside you'll find elaborately tiled walls and glittery chandeliers. Outside, life-size gargoyles and walls painted colors usually reserved for condiments. A word of warning. The castle gets downright overrun, especially in the summer, so avoid the crowds by getting here early. It's also a good idea to book time tickets in advance. Afternoon, the fairy tale continues. Refuel with Portuguese tapas at Tascantiga, a favorite of TripAdvisor readers for its rustic atmosphere, and traditional dishes like garlic shrimp and pork with mushrooms and potatoes. The best tables are outside on the terrace. When you're full, take a short walk to the Quinta da Regaleira. The flamboyant country estate, also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is like a cross between a fairy tale castle and Bond villain lair, as one TripAdvisor review noted. It's easy to burn 3 hours here exploring the elaborate palace and the wooden trails through the grounds. Don't miss making your way down the spiraling staircase of the initiation well. If you're brave, you can even explore some hidden tunnels at the bottom. Evening, cod dinner and a train to Lisbon. Walk back into town so you can explore Sintra's charming Centro Histórico, being sure to get a glimpse of Sintra National Palace. You'll definitely be hungry by the time the fish-focused Bacalhau na Vila opens for dinner. Travelers rave about their tapa-style menu, which includes a delicious spinach soup made with cod, like most things on the menu. Relax over dinner, maybe with some wine, then grab the train back to Lisbon,